East Wilderness. Heaven-mending religion. On Zixia Peak, in a dilapidated log cabin, Yechu sat quietly on the bed in a daze. It's over, barbecue. I seem to have passed through. Open the next window and look at the sky outside, showing a purple glow. In the distance in the sky, people flew over from time to time, and it was a magnificent scene of the holy land of the immortal family. It took half a day for Yechu to finally accept this reality. He did cross, and he crossed into a wild world. His identity at the moment is one of the 7 heads of the heaven-mending sect, the head of the 18th generation of Zixia Peak. His status seems to be quite noble, but unfortunately he is a bear commander. Shaking his head, Yechu muttered to himself. His master, Zhenren Xiantian, cultivated into a madman all his life and pursued immortality wholeheartedly. After exhausting all his life efforts, he could not become an immortal in the end. Before it was temporary, he couldn't bear the loss of Zixia Peak's inheritance, so he accepted Yechu as his apprentice. In fact, Yechu knew in his heart that his aptitude was only average. His master accepted him as his apprentice, but he had no choice and had to accept it. In the end, he passed away without teaching Yechu a few days, leaving only a pile of Zixia Peak's inheritance and a first seat. Yechu, who successfully succeeded to the throne, although he has a prestigious status and ranks first, this is a world where strength is paramount. When his master was still alive, everyone had to give him a face. After the master slapped his ass, no one looked down on him. Well, strength is a flaw. We have to find a way to make up for it. After thinking about this clearly, Yechu's heart suddenly trembled. Ding! The 10,000 fold return system is being bound. Hey? The system. Yechu's eyes lit up, he calmed down and studied it carefully. 10,000 fold return system, the host imparts or presents to disciples, elixir, secrets of the practice, or cultivation base. You can get a high fold crit return, and the crit rate is random, up to 10,000 times. After listening to the introduction of the system, Yechu suddenly became happy. Yo, that's interesting. 10,000 times the return, it's so silvery. Does that mean that if I go to take an apprentice to come back and pass on his skills for decades, I can get hundreds or thousands of years of skills? Having said that, Yechu suddenly stopped worrying. System check. Host, Yechu, cultivation, Sun Z 2nd grade. The cultivation base is low, a little monk, the kind that can't be found in the crowd. Magic skill, no, qualification, general, aptitude is dull, and it is difficult to become a master. Appearance and charm score, 99, this is okay, it can be seen. Yechu. Suddenly, I really wanted to take out this system and play it. Congratulations to the host, get a novice gift package, whether to open it or not. Open it. The gift bag was successfully opened, and a high-quality sanitizing pill was obtained, and a T9 cultivation base was obtained. Following the cold voice of the system, a magical force suddenly poured into Yechu's body. Oh, cool! After this power entered the body, it quickly merged into the spiritual spring, and Yechu's cultivation level also increased to the 3rd rank of Suanzi. Only the 3rd rank? System, have you made a mistake? Only the 3rd rank in 10 years. Returning to the host, there is no mistake. Any cultivation base that is returned in years is not calculated based on the skill you have spent 10 years. Instead, it is calculated based on the T9 power spent by ordinary people as the unit of calculation. The T9 skill of ordinary people is like this, Yechu. It only takes 10 years to upgrade to a rank, what a waste. But thinking about it is also right, the further back one's cultivation base is, the more time it takes to improve each level. This is normal. In the great wilderness world, the most important thing is time. Each retreat can be as short as a few months or as long as a few years. This is normal. Please accept an apprentice as soon as possible, and complete the task to get a high critical strike return. Yechu didn't plan to use a pill of washing marrow in his hand. Keep this thing, maybe it will come in handy later. At this time. Bang bang bang. Uncle Yat, are you inside? There was a knock on the door outside. Yechu was stunned for a moment, and said, "Please come in." The dilapidated wooden door was pushed open, and a handsome young man walked in. Yechu knew this person. This was not the chief disciple of Yuking Palace, Lu Qingfeng. The cultivation base is the third rank of Tianxiang, which is a big realm higher than Yechu, and belongs to the leader of this generation of disciples. He is not bad, he is approachable and has no pretense. Maybe it's because he is the future heir to the headmaster, so he has a very good relationship with the heads of various branches, the elders and the disciples of the same generation. According to Yechu's words, this is a person's essence, and the relationship should be laid out before taking the position. Uncle Yat, the headmaster asked me to inform you that you should get up immediately and go to the Yuking Palace to discuss matters. Since Master Yechu's seniority is relatively high, his seniority is actually on the same level as that of the headmaster and many other leaders. Lu Qingfeng respectfully called him Uncle Shi. Did the teacher in charge say anything about it? Yechu wondered. In this place where he doesn't shit, he usually doesn't even have a person. Why did someone suddenly come to tell him to go to a meeting? Lu Qingfeng hesitated for a moment and said, "It's because of the beast riot that happened in the village at the foot of the mountain yesterday. Those surviving orphans have woken up. Master held the first meeting in the Yuking Palace to discuss the cause and effect of this beast riot, and the placement of the surviving orphans. Well, it turns out that..." Yechu nodded. He still had some memories of the riot at the foot of the mountain yesterday, but not much. As for the placement of the orphans they were talking about, it was nothing more than a simple acceptance ceremony. Well, that's right. Go take a look and see if you can take a cheap apprentice back to test it out. Because of the existence of the 10,000 times return system, Yechu is eager to accept a disciple. Coincidentally, the opportunity just came. Okay, I see. You go back first. Uncle Master, Qingfeng retire. Lu Qingfeng saluted and silently exited the cabin. Before leaving, he glanced at the cabins on Zixia Peak and shook his head. A few minutes later, Yechu folded his fan and walked out of the cabin. Changed from the previous laziness, there is a verve between the eyebrows, as if the immortal descended to the world, with extraordinary bearing. When I didn't know, I thought he was some kind of expert from outside the world, but in fact he was a second-grade Suanzi little cultivator. With the Zixia sword, Yechu performed the sword-fighting technique he had just learned a few days ago and flew towards the Yuking Palace. Zixia sword, Yu reading www.yuyuganshu.com was passed down to him by his master after his hiccups. It is a top quality treasure and is extremely rare. This was probably the only valuable thing on Yechu's body. It's not easy to come by, it's not easy to come by. In less than a while, Yechu came to the Yuking Hall. As soon as he entered the hall, he saw a group of people standing below. These people should be the surviving orphans this time. Junior brother Yat, you are so grand, let us wait for you with so many people. Before Yechu returned to his first seat, the first seat of Tibetan Sword Peak next to him, Chi Wahui, the law enforcement elder of the Heaven Patching sect, said with a yin and yang strange air. Yechu glanced at him. The old man didn't look like a good person. He knew in his heart that no one in this group looked down on him. The reason why I waited for him to come was because I didn't want to break the rules. The first seat of the 7 meridians, except for the yin and yang Chi Wahui and the headmaster. The rest of the first seats looked up to the sky one by one, not even bothering to greet him. Yechu simply ignored them and taught Meng Tian the right way. Brother Zhang, I'm really sorry, Zixia Peak is a long way to go, and it's been delayed for a long time. I'm sorry. It's okay. Meng Tianzheng waved his hand, as the headmaster of the Heaven Patching sect, although he also looked down on Yechu, but for the sake of sect harmony, he still responded. And after Chi Wugui was ignored by Yechu, he became even more embarrassed. Humph, it's just a small second-rank cultivator of the mysterious finger, with a low cultivation base and a rather arrogant personality. If it wasn't for the bad luck, and being accepted as a disciple by Master Xiantian, it would be logical to take over Xixia Peak. You are not even qualified to speak in front of me. Everyone who was present knew how Yechu's first seat came to be, and they looked down on him in their hearts. All the heads have been seated, looking at the heads of the veins above. The following young people, teenagers, have anticipation in their eyes. As a citizen of the great wilderness, cultivating immortals is everyone's lifelong dream, and they look forward to the day when they can truly worship the immortal sect. The real person, please let the real person call the shots for us. In the quiet hall, a young man walked out of the crowd, knelt on the ground, and wept bitterly. He took the lead, and the others walked out one after another, begging Meng Tianzheng to call the shots for them. After all, they have just experienced a disaster that destroyed their families and people, and everyone's heart is very painful. Alas, poor children, get up first. The good man Meng Tianzheng sighed. Regarding the matter of the beast rioting at the foot of the mountain, he searched for a day without finding any clues. At the moment, calling the heads of the various channels is nothing more than to discuss the whereabouts of these orphans. I already know what happened to you. Don't worry, this incident happened at the foot of my heaven-mending sect, and we will definitely investigate it thoroughly. After speaking, he looked back at the heads of the various veins behind him, and continued, but don't worry, it will take some time to find out about this matter. You can stay on the mountain to practice first. If there is news in the future, I will definitely let you know. In the crowd, hearing Meng Tianzhen's beautiful words, Lin Qingzhou burst into tears, and his heart was ashes. When I think of the scene before my parents died, my heart bursts with grief and anger. She wants to become stronger, she wants to take revenge, but she also knows in her heart that few of the leaders standing above will really help her. If you want revenge, you can only rely on yourself. Right now, there is only one way in front of her, to learn from a teacher, to learn art, and to seek revenge when she is strong enough. Several juniors, what do you think? Speaking of which, Meng Tian was looking at the head of each vein behind. Anyone with a discerning eye knows that the next stage is the selection of disciples by the leaders of each vein. Those with good talent and aptitude will be picked out in advance, or even scrambled for. For those with poor aptitude, the probability of being elected is almost zero, and they can only be reduced to handyman disciples, starting from the bottom. Before coming, Lu Qingfeng had already introduced them to them. They knew very well in their hearts and were looking forward to whether these first places would choose them. Haha, senior brother Zhang, since you have spoken, then junior brother is welcome. Chi Wugui walked out first, and at a glance he took a fancy to the boy who came out first. This person has the best aptitude, is born with divine bones, and has extraordinary talents. He can be called a genius. Has the appearance of a great emperor. Seeing Chi Wugui heading straight for the young man, Yang Wudi, the first seat of Jianfeng Peak, couldn't sit still. He dragged his fat body and walked out. Before Chi Wugui spoke, he said, Brother Zhang, I think this child is destined for me, so let him come to my door. When everyone heard it, they rolled their eyes. He had used this set many times, and who would buy his account? Junior brother Yang, this is what I saw first. Chi Wugui said with dissatisfaction. Does it belong to you if you see it first? What's the point of this? You. What? Why don't we go out and practice alone? Just practice alone, I'm afraid of you. Chi Wugui also had a violent temper. In the entire mountain gate, in addition to the headmaster, there was also a deceased master Xiantian, and he was not afraid of anyone. In order to compete for a boy, the two almost got into a fight. And the rest of the first seats knew that they couldn't grab them, so they could only retreat and choose other ones that were not bad. Soon, the selection of the orphans below was finished, and only Lin Qingzu was left standing there helplessly. She didn't know what was wrong with her, why no one picked her. He was very unwilling in his heart, the shame came from his heart, and he clenched his fists. The realistic slap slapped her fiercely, and her fantasy of becoming stronger was finally shattered. Now that no one chooses her, she has only one path left, starting as a handyman disciple. However, no one chooses her, which also means that her qualifications are very poor. If you want to start as a handyman disciple, what is easier said than done? When she was desperate, a white figure suddenly appeared in front of her. Like a dawn in the darkness of despair, Lin Qingzu was extremely pleasantly surprised. When he looked up, he turned out to be the young leader who was sitting in the far corner just now. Would you like to worship me as your teacher? Yechu said in a calm tone. I am willing, disciple Lin Qingzu, to pay respects to master. At this moment, Lin Qingzu dared to hesitate at all, so he immediately knelt down to pay his respects. In this extremely embarrassing situation, it was Yechu who gave her the last dignity. It also gave her the last glimmer of hope. As long as she could learn from a teacher, she would have the opportunity to take revenge. Although the other party looks young and doesn't know how strong he is at least the first. Well, come with me. Yechu said indifferently, and left the hall first. Lin Qingzu quickly followed, and before she left, she heard a sarcasm. It was Qi Wugui's voice. Haha, the trash master has accepted a trash apprentice, it's really a strong alliance. There's a saying that says that things gather together, and people are divided into groups. It's true. It's a pity that this 1000-year inheritance of Zixia Peak will be ruined in the hands of these two mediocre talents. Hearing these words, Lin Qingzu's face turned cold. Yechu walked in front of her and could feel the reaction in her heart. After walking for a while, he suddenly stopped. Master! Lin Qingzu was stunned for a moment, and called out subconsciously. Yechu looked back at her and said, You heard what you said just now. How do you feel about you reading www.youkansha.com? Lin Qingzu hesitated for a moment. At this moment, she was extremely angry in her heart. Even though she had just been a teacher, she had already accepted this master in her heart. No matter what the opponent's strength is, that is her master. When she was extremely embarrassed, she gave her the last dignified master. She can say whatever others say, but she doesn't agree when they say she is a master. Master, I don't know the big truth, but I know one thing, I am a teacher for one day and a father for life. When everyone was reluctant to accept Qingzu as a disciple, it was the master who gave Qingzu hope. Qingzu will spend his whole life to maintain the reputation of the master, and not to embarrass the master, even if it is irreversible. Master, don't worry. I will work hard, and one day, I will prove to them that master is not a mediocre, and I am not a waste. Clenching his fists, Lin Qingzu said coldly, invisibly exuding an icy aura, a pure coldness. Hearing this sentence, Yechu felt very relieved. That's right, this apprentice didn't get it in vain. Not only is he beautiful and kind, but he also respects his mentor and repays his gratitude. This wave should be profitable. In the main hall just now, he had been observing secretly, and he did not go to grab apprentices from those people. Because he knew that he would definitely not be able to grab it, so he simply chose among those who had no choice in the end. Often at this time, the person who was not selected must be extremely disappointed, and you just chose her. In her heart, as long as she's a normal person, she'll be very grateful, and she'll be very grateful. Very good. Let's go. Yechu didn't explain too much, he waved out the Zixia sword, grabbed Lin Qingzu's hand, and flew towards Zixia Peak. On the way to Zixia Peak, Lin Qingzu was very nervous and looking forward to it. In the face of the imminent immortal journey, everyone is somewhat looking forward to it. Looking at Yujian's young and handsome master in front of him, Lin Qingzue felt inexplicably warm in his heart. This master is not only handsome, but also very gentle, unlike the other leaders who have a straight face all day long. Like someone owes him millions. Moreover, he was also very concerned with the disciple's psychological problems, and comforted her from time to time. What is even more unimaginable is his tolerance. In the face of so many slander and exclusion from the first place, he can always remain calm and calm. Lin Qingzue admired his attitude very much, and swore in his heart. I must work hard, and I can't embarrass master. A few minutes later, a purple light flashed across Zixia Peak, and the two slowly landed in front of a few cabins. Arrived. Walking to the front of the cabin, Yechu's face was not red or his heart was beating, and he said solemnly, I am a person who cultivates immortality. Although the conditions are simple, it can also hone a person's xingxing, and walk more steadily on the road of cultivating immortals in the future. After saying those words, Yechu felt ashamed, but he was thick-skinned and his expression was still very natural. Zixia Peak is very poor, and it has a lot to do with Master Xiantian. After all, this old man is full of food, and the entire Zixia Peak is not hungry. Master, this disciple understands. Lin Qingzue replied firmly. You can choose any one of these wooden houses as your residence, except for the middle one. From today onwards, you are the 19th generation disciple of my Zixia Peak and the future heir of Zixia Peak. As the eldest disciple, you have to work hard, cultivate seriously, and set an example for the younger brothers and sisters in the future. Yechu completely reenacted every word that Master Xiantian said when he accepted him. Lin Qingzue was so excited when she heard it, she didn't expect that she would be so lucky to be trained as an heir as soon as she became a teacher. Say it right now. Master, don't worry, I will definitely work hard. Very good. Yechu breathed a sigh of relief. He was not afraid of anything, he was just afraid that she would give up. After all, when he went up the mountain, when he saw the scene of Zixia Peak, he didn't want to do it at that time. Okay. Since you have already worshipped me as your teacher, I can't hide your secrets. You should eat this pill. This medicine pill, although it is a common product, has an excellent effect. It can wash away impurities from your body and make you feel the presence of qi very quickly. With that said, Yechu slowly took out the zishuaidan that the system rewarded just now, and handed it to Lin Qingzue. Lin Qingzue took the medicinal pill from him and was very shocked. Master, this. She had just been apprenticed to her teacher, and her master actually rewarded her with a pill for washing the marrow. Lu Qingfeng had introduced to them before that, in addition to personal aptitude and talent, there is another very crucial thing in the journey of cultivating immortals. That is the treasure of heaven and earth, a panacea. And most of these things are in the hands of the heads of the various veins. However, they are very cunning and don't want to waste this hard-won panacea. So this is also the reason why they compete for more talented apprentices. Lin Qingzue did not expect that his master would be so generous, and he would be rewarded with a first-class medicinal elixir as soon as he entered the door. What touched her right now was that she almost promised her. Thank you, Master. This disciple will definitely not disappoint Master. Without any hesitation, Lin Qingzue directly ate the washing marrow pill. I just felt my body warm, and a magical force poured into my body, expelling impurities from my body in a moment. Feeling the sticky impurities on the surface of the skin, Lin Qingzue's face turned red, and he was a little afraid to see people. Hee, let's go. There is a hot spring in the back mountain, you can clean it up. Yechu smiled. Everyone has a love for beauty, which is understandable. What's more, Lin Qingzue is extremely beautiful, she belongs to the type of glamorous goddess, her skin is fair and tender, and she is about 1.75 meters tall, very tall. Especially after consuming the cleansing marrow pill, the impurities in the body have been cleaned up, and the whole person's temperament has undergone earth-shaking changes. If this was put in other novels, it would be a proper heroine, at the level of a holy maiden. Thank you, Master, this disciple will retire first. Lin Qingzhou left the dojo as if running away. After she left, Yechu's expression changed, and the corners of his mouth rose slightly. System. Come out, hurry up, my return is here. At this time, he couldn't wait, and urgently needed to verify it. Ding, the host presented the disciple with a pill for washing the marrow, which meets the conditions. Turn on the 10,000-fold return, and the crit will be random. Do you want to start? Turn on. Successful opening, congratulations to the host, triggering 1,000-fold crit, obtaining a top quality spiritual pill, a spiritual pill, fuck. Yechu sat up from the chair in shock. This first shot triggered 1,000 times the critical strike, and also obtained a top quality spiritual pill, the divine marrow pill. This thing is 1,000 times stronger than the effect of Zisui Dan. It just happened to solve the problem of his ordinary aptitude. Hey. That's right, he is indeed a good disciple of his teacher, Lucky Star. As soon as he arrives, he will trigger 1,000 times the critical strike. Holding the divine marrow pill returned by the system in his hand, Yakayul almost couldn't close his mouth. Suddenly there was a whim. In less than a while, Lin Qingzhou came back after cleaning. Her hair was wet and naturally scattered. At first glance, there was a feeling of hibiscus emerging from clear water. Yechu was almost stunned. I'll go. Is this girl so charming? No, I'm a respected teacher, how can I have such a crooked mind? Where is Yu Gangchang's ethics? Shaking his head, Yechu quickly recovered after swept away his previous evil thoughts. Master! I'm back. Lin Qingzhou walked back a little embarrassed. Yechu nodded. Well, I just thought about it for the teacher. A pill for washing the marrow, although it can help you feel the existence of qi in advance, but if you want to surpass those of your peers, I'm afraid it's a little powerless. Let's do it. There is also a divine marrow pill here for the teacher. If you eat it, your aptitude will undergo earth-shaking changes in just a moment. What? Lin Qingzhou was stunned when he heard this. Is this master too generous? Moreover, he had such a precious medicinal pill, he didn't eat it, but kept it for himself. At this moment, Lin Qingzhou was very moved, and there was a feeling of tears in his eyes. Maybe Shizun didn't want her to be looked down upon by her peers, but also to make her stronger as soon as possible and avenge her parents, so she made a lot of money. At this moment, thinking of what happened in the Yuking Palace just now, Lin Qingzhou felt cold in his heart and clenched his fists. Humph, you all wait, the shame of today, I will definitely return it to you 100-fold on behalf of Master in the future. In his heart, he silently swore that Lin Qingzhou was another great gift at the moment. Master's great kindness, Qingzhou will keep it in my heart in this life, please accept Qingzhou's worship. Well, get up. Eat this thing first. Yechu didn't care what she was thinking. He was more concerned at this moment. Can he return it later? This is a very crazy idea. If it is possible, is it possible to have infinite nesting dolls? Taking over the divine marrow pill, Lin Qingzhou ate it in one bite. Immediately, an even more surging force poured into the body. Because the previous impurities have been cleaned up, the divine marrow pill will not be cleaned up again, but will transform the meridians in her body. For a moment, a divine bone appeared in her body. Hiss, the natural profound ice bone. Yechu was shocked when he saw it. This is a top quality divine bone, which is even higher than that of the boy in the hall before. This divine marrow pill is too terrifying. Ding, congratulations to the host, gifting the disciples divine essence Dan Dan, triggering the return of critical strikes, whether to enable it. Turn on. The activation is successful, triggering 100-fold crit, and obtaining an immortal marrow pill. Note, the system found that the host deliberately exploited a loophole, and the returned item was given again to trigger the return. This time, the system did not do anything, and warned once, it is hereby stated that the items returned by the system will no longer trigger the return of critical strikes by way of gifts. Hearing the warning, Yechu's heart tightened, but when he heard it was just a warning, he was relieved. Fortunately, I didn't make a mistake. Although it can't be infinitely nested, it has succeeded at least once. Give it a go. A bicycle turns into a motorcycle, a top quality spiritual pill, a spiritual pill, directly becomes an elixir, and it is still an immortal pill. This is the top elixir. Haha, I've posted. Yechu almost let out a frantic laugh, but in front of his disciples, how could he be so disrespectful? He recovered immediately. Cough cough. Calm down. The mere fairy medicine is just the beginning. When Lin Qingzu woke up again and felt the changes in his body, he was very shocked. Before coming, Lu Qingfeng had introduced them to them. Among ordinary people, there are nobles and commoners. Among the immortals, there are also geniuses and wastes. And the most representative of whether a person has the talent for immortal cultivation is this divine bone. The heaven patching sect has been established for thousands of years, and only a few dozen geniuses have been born. And these geniuses, all of them are the dragons among the people in the world. As for divine bone, in addition to being born, it can also be obtained with heavenly materials and earthly treasures, but it will cost a lot of money, and most sects are unwilling. She really did not expect that Yechu was willing to use a divine marrow pill to awaken a divine bone when she had just started. How could she repay this kindness? Thank you, Master, for the medicine. No matter how many words of thanks, it is difficult to express the admiration in her heart. At this moment, in her heart, Yechu stood upright like above the 9 heavens. Following a master like this, why would you not be able to take revenge? Why is the path to immortality slim? Well, get up. Looking at Lin Qingzu, who was kneeling on the ground, Yechu said lightly. 3 months later, it will be the 7 meridians of the heaven patching sect. As the eldest disciple of my Zixia Peak, I hope that after 3 months, you will be able to get a good ranking and fight for our Zixia Peak. Yechu said calmly. A day ago, he really didn't dare to think about these 7 meridians, but now. With this 10,000-fold return system, nothing is impossible. Wait, 3 months is enough. Master, don't worry, I will definitely not embarrass Zixia Peak. Lin Qingzu said with a firm expression. Shizun valued these 7 meridians so much, how could she let Shizun down? No matter what the price is, she will get back the number 1 ranking of the 7 veins and give Zixia Peak a face. If it was before, maybe she was still a little stressed, but now the mysterious ice bones in her body are feeding back power to her all the time, and her confidence has skyrocketed. Until now, she has not forgotten the humiliation Chi Wugui had done to their master and apprentice in the Yuking Palace. This time, no matter what, she has to prove to them that Zixia Peak is not useless. Very good. Yechu glanced at her with satisfaction, and continued, you have awakened your divine bones, and you have entered the first stage of Qi training on your own. As he spoke, he took out a copy from behind and handed it to her. This book is my Zixia Peak's inheritance, the Zixia collection. You just need to learn how to run Zhoutian according to the content in the book. If you don't understand anything, please ask me again. The disciple understands. Lin Qingzu took over the Zixia collection, and if she found a treasure, this was the first step in her real journey to immortality. Okay. Go back and rest. From tomorrow, from the beginning of the morning, you will wake up on the cliff of Wang Wang. 3 homework a day, don't play and waste, wait for your cultivation base to enter the Suanzi realm, I will teach you Zixia swordsmanship as a teacher, disciple remember. Yechu waved his hand and continued, I have to retreat for a few days as a teacher. If you encounter a problem you don't understand in your practice, you can't rush in. When you leave the retreat for your teacher, I will answer it for you. Even though Shizun goes to retreat, King Zhu will definitely not waste his homework and practice diligently. Well, let's go. After the Buddha's hand, Lin Qingzhou left the dojo and returned to the cabin. He couldn't wait to open the Zixia collection, and wanted to see the mystery of the immortal methods in the book. After only watching it for a few minutes, she was able to mobilize the qi in her body. Can't help but be surprised. This divine bone has such a magical effect. It's unbelievable. I didn't expect that this time, the master would be willing to make such an effort to awaken the bones for me. Anyway, I must not let down the expectations of my master. I will work hard to cultivate, strive for the 7 meridians in 3 months, and get back a good ranking. After making up his mind, Lin Qingzhou directly entered the state of cultivation, and he didn't wait for tomorrow. What she wants to do most now is to break through to the profound finger realm as soon as possible, and give him a surprise when the master leaves. At this time, Yeqiu had already left the dojo and entered the Huishan cave. This cave is a special retreat site for Zixia Peak. In Yeqiu's memory, his master spent most of his life in the cave. Now he wants to come here too. After all, it is very quiet and no one disturbs it, so it is very suitable for retreat. As soon as he entered the cave and closed the door, Yeqiu couldn't wait to speak. System, turn on the return. Ding, you teach your disciple Zixia the magic art to trigger the return of critical strikes, do you want to enable it? Turn on. Congratulations to the host, triggering 10,000 times of critical strikes, obtaining a God-level mental method, a copy of the original true solution. Hi! God level! Damn it, it's really developed now. In less than a moment, a pile of bone inscriptions and pictures, as well as a piece of obscure scriptures, flooded into my mind. Do you study? Study. In less than a moment, Yeqiu had already learned the obscure and incomprehensible scriptures. Next, he only needed to slowly comprehend the secrets, and then he could completely grasp it. Exactly, taking this immortal marrow pill together might be able to break through the mysterious finger realm in one fell swoop and directly reach the heavenly phase. Taking out the immortal marrow pill returned by the system just now, Yeqiu let out a heartbroken laugh. Hey, I'm going to eat you, don't worry, brother is very gentle. With a sigh, that enormous power instantly melted into Yeqiu's body. For a moment, Ling Lai's immortal energy filled his body, and at one point he almost burst Yeqiu's body. Damn it! The power of this elixir is so fierce, I'm careless. Sure enough, the road still has to be taken step by step. If you reading www.yuyuganshu.com wants to take one step to the sky, one has to pay a heavy price. Yeqiu is now bearing the price. The power of the elixir continued to reverberate between the limbs and bones, the blood soon dyed the clothes red, and Yeqiu's expression was very painful. After washing away all the impurities in the body, the immortal power poured into the fohe, and in the depths of the fohe, a lotus flower was born. Seeing this scene, Yeqiu was shocked. He is not a novice like Lin Qingzhou, and he has no knowledge of immortality. When he saw this flower, he immediately understood what this flower meant. The flower of the avenue. Natural Dao body. If it is said that the divine bone is a unique physique, then, the natural Taoist body is unique throughout the ages. This physique is one of the strongest in the human race. Yeqiu didn't expect that an immortal marrow pill would allow him to directly open up the Taoist body. This kind of treatment, even if it is the kind of ancient great clan, it may not be possible to spend the power of the clan. With the existence of the flower of the avenue, Yeqiu was born close to the avenue. In his eyes, he can see the subtlety of any profound fairy method at a glance. Moreover, this Dao flower, nourished by heaven and earth, fed back to Yeqiu, allowing him to rapidly improve his cultivation. This kind of ability, how can God's bones be able to compare? It's posted, it's posted. It's really posted this time. At this moment, yet Yu could no longer remain calm. The power of the immortal marrow pill has not yet dissipated, and yet Yu immediately began to enter the state of cultivation after he produced the Dao flower. According to his original expectation, he thought he could only break through to the heavenly aspect at most, but he saw the immortal power remaining in his body. Yet Yu fell into deep thought. Well, rush without distance. In the past few days, Lin Qingzu has gradually become accustomed to the tranquility of Zixia Peak. In this place where birds don't shit, there is no one to talk to. The only thing that can be done is to cultivate. It is precisely because of this that her cultivation in the past few days has skyrocketed. In less than 3 days, she had already broken through to the 3rd rank of Qi practice, almost a level a day. This morning, at the beginning of dawn, the sun has not yet risen. Lin Qingzu's figure in white clothes appeared on Wangdian Cliff, and started the 3 homework that Yechu gave her. Comprehend the Dao, practice Qi, and ask the heart. After washing away her vulgarity, after she truly entered the practice, the originally glamorous woman seemed even more immortal. The face of the alluring city and the country exudes an icy aura, originating from the icy cold emanating from the body. It was so cold that people couldn't get close, especially after her family was destroyed. Her eyes seemed dull and without any emotion. Just like a 9-day mysterious girl, you can only see it from a distance. Arriving at Wangdanya, Lin Qingzu looked back at the direction of the back mountain and muttered, I don't know when the master will come out. I haven't seen him for several days, and suddenly I have a strange idea. Well, forget it. I haven't done my homework today, so let's finish it early. Looking at the back mountain, there was still no movement. Lin Qingzu sat cross-legged on a stone, looking at the tops of the mountains below, and entered a state of meditation. Until noon, she slowly opened her eyes. 4th Qi practice. In 4 days, I almost break through a realm a day. If I continue like this, within 3 months, I will definitely be able to break through to the Suanzi realm. Lin Qingzu has great self-confidence, even though she knows very well that it will be more difficult to improve her cultivation as she goes back. But at this time, her talent and aptitude already surpassed those of the genius disciples of the heaven-mending sect. Of course, everything she had was given to her by Yechu, and she knew it very well. At this moment, a flowing cloud flew over the horizon, and a figure of a fairy tale appeared on the cliff. Seeing the old man, Lin Qingzu's heart trembled, and he hurriedly saluted, Disciple Lin Qingzu, I have seen the real head teacher. It was none other than Meng Tianzheng and Qi Wugui who came with him. Meng Tianzheng was old-fashioned, waved his hand, and said, No need to be more polite. Qi Wugui asked, Where's your master? Why didn't you see anyone else when the master chief came to visit? Lin Qingzu gave him a deep look. She did not forget the scene in the Yuking Palace a few days ago. He said in a flat tone, Go back to Master Qi, my master has gone to retreat. Shut down. Ha ha. As soon as he heard Yechu's retreat, Qi Wugui suddenly burst into laughter, which seemed to be the biggest joke he had heard today. Is he also going to retreat? With his aptitude, even if he is in seclusion for 10 years, he probably won't be able to break through a small realm. It wasn't that Qi Wuhui was humiliating Yechu. Who wouldn't know that there was a trash leader on Zixia Peak in the entire heaven-mending sect? After cultivating for 10 years, he was only at the 2nd rank. 10 years, even a pig should have a 9th rank, right? When Lin Qingzu saw Qi Wuhui insulting her master like this, his heart was cold, and his murderous intention was already on the move. The divine bones in her body moved silently, and silently, she exuded a cold meaning. Meng Tianzheng was also about to scold Qi Wugui to tell him not to go too far, when he suddenly felt the chill. Turning back, he looked at Lin Qingzu with a look of surprise. Natural mysterious Bing Bone. What? Qi Wugui was startled, looked at Meng Tianzheng with a confused expression, and then looked at Lin Qingzu. I saw a mark between her brows, which was the mark of a natural divine bone. Impossible. When we were in the main hall, we all checked, and she didn't have a divine bone at all. Chi Wugui immediately denied it, he didn't believe it was true. After all, he had seen it very clearly at the beginning. Among all the disciples present, the only one with a divine bone had already been accepted by him. And Lin Qingzu, in that group of people, the aptitude is not even inferior, and she is too lazy to choose the first place in each line. Only Yechu, the bear commander, chose her. How could she have divine bones? Chi Wugui couldn't sit still and was about to take a look, when Meng Tianzhang stopped him. It is indeed a bone. And it is very pure, and it is expected to grow into a fairy bone. Haha. Okay, I didn't expect that I would add another genius to the heaven-mending sect. It's a great blessing for me to teach. It's a pity, why is she a disciple of Zixia Peak? Meng Tianzhang couldn't bear it, it was really a waste to let such a genius train Yechu. And Chi Wugui, the expression on his face at this time was more uncomfortable than eating shit. He really couldn't accept it. He was always shrewd, how could he be wrong? Child, are you willing to follow me back to the Yuking Palace and worship at my door? Don't worry, with your qualifications, if you join me, I will give you the best resources, treatment and future achievements that you cannot imagine. Meng Tianzhang immediately threw out an olive branch. When Lin Qingzu heard it, the corner of his mouth rose slightly, revealing a sneer. At first, everyone refused to accept her, only Yechu was willing to accept her. Now, with the help of Master, I have awakened my divine bones. They changed their faces in an instant, and they shamelessly came to recruit themselves, trying to dig the corner of the Master. Many thanks for the kindness of Master Headmaster, and the disciples have accepted it. It's just that my master is alone in Zixia Peak, and I can't have no one to take care of it, so the disciples can't agree. Lin Qingzu refused immediately, and Meng Tianzhang took it away angrily. With his scheming, he couldn't see Lin Qingzu's implication. Yechu is not a disabled person. He has stayed in Zixia Peak for 10 years and has nothing to do, so there is no need for Lin Qingzu to take care of him. Well, it doesn't matter. Since you master and apprentice are deeply in love, this old man is not good at being tough. By the way, before your master retreated, did he teach you how to practice? This person who cultivates immortals, retreats as short as a few months and as long as half a year. You can't delay your cultivation and waste this divine bone. Meng Tianzhang asked, if Yechu didn't teach him, he wouldn't mind teaching him. After all, she was also a disciple of the Mending Heaven sect. He really couldn't bear to see her being abolished by Yechu sect. Returning to teach the real person, Master has taught me the method of cultivation. Yu reading www.yuyuganshu.com. Haha. Upon hearing this, Chi Wugui sneered disdainfully, and said, what kind of immortal art can he teach, but it's a pity that this divine bone will be wasted in the hands of some mediocre person. Meng Tianzhang cast a glance at him, looked at Lin Qingzu and said, child, can you show me your current cultivation situation? Lin Qingzu didn't resist, just nodded and smiled inwardly. He only stretched out his hand, Meng Tianzhang took a pulse, and suddenly his expression changed. Chi Wugui was stunned for a moment, and asked in doubt, Brother Zhang, what's the matter? Hey, practice the 4th grade Qi. How is this possible, in just 4 days, from a person with no cultivation base, to break through to the 4th rank of Qi practice? Meng Tianzhen's face was full of disbelief, and Chi Wugui's face was ashen. He was in the main hall before, and Yu Yangwudi had beaten the disciple of the God Bone who had to die before he could get it, but he didn't feel the anger until today. Lin Qingzu, who no one wants, has broken through to the 4th rank of Qi training? Impossible, I'll take a look. Chi Wugui didn't believe it was true at all. He checked it and his face turned ashen. This? No, it's not true, I must be dreaming. Chi Wugui couldn't believe it, looking at Lin Qingzu who was sneering in front of him, his heart was full of anger. In the past few days, because he grabbed the disciple who was born with a divine bone. He was arrogant every day, and he was very proud in front of the leaders of various veins. But he really didn't expect that when he came to Zixia Peak today, he was slapped in the face by Yechu. The person he looked down upon once taught a disciple who was even more powerful than him. This is the most unacceptable to him. Master Qi, is there a problem? Lin Qingzhu sneered in his heart, and looked at Qi Wugui meaningfully. I don't know why, but seeing his shit-like expression, I feel like I'm getting revenge. Comfortable. I was secretly happy. Humph, how do you know what my master has done for me when you look at a lowly thing? Fortunately, you didn't choose me at the beginning, otherwise, how could I worship Shizun as my teacher and get the elixir that many people can't dream of? Master's ability, how can you be a layman who can see through it? Until now, I finally understand that when I left the main hall, why did the master still maintain a calm appearance in the face of the humiliation of so many people? This is the mentality a real expert should have. She knew very well in her heart that the reason why she cultivated so fast was entirely because of the medicinal effect of the divine marrow pill. After awakening the divine bone, the medicinal effect was not completely absorbed. After all, it is a top-quality elixir, and only immortals can compare it. Even a strong man like Qi Wugui, the leader of the line, couldn't get one in his hand, let alone his own disciple. As for Yechu, he took it out, and he was willing to give it to her. This is the difference between them. At this time, Qi Wugui was full of anger in his heart, but he didn't dare to attack when Meng Tian was here. He glanced at Lin Qingzhu coldly, and his expression seemed to say something else. Wait for me, you two trash masters and apprentices, even if you have a bad luck, it won't change your status in the heaven-mending sect. Compared with Qi Wugui's anger, Meng Tianzheng was more surprised. What the is going on here? Could it be that junior brother yet is not as rumored by the outside world, but a mediocre talent? Well, this matter is up for discussion. Apart from his doubts, Meng Tianzheng was more joyful and looked back at Qi Wugui. He was very clear in his heart that Qi Wugui had always had a great opinion of Zixia Peak. Because Zhangjian Peak and Zixia Peak had a feud with the previous generation, when Zhenren Xiantian was there, he didn't dare to blatantly deal with Zixia Peak. After Zhenren Xiantian passed away, Qi Wugui gradually began to show his hostility towards Zixia Peak and was always targeting Yechu. But fortunately, Yechu never responded to this, so he had no chance at all. Now seeing Lin Qingzhu's outburst of such amazing talent, Meng Tianzheng knew very well that the struggle between Zixia Peak and Kangjian Peak was about to begin again. After all, Lin Qingzhu's identity is the eldest disciple of Zixia Peak. If nothing else, he must be the future heir of Zixia Peak. Coupled with this amazing talent, how could Qi Wugui sit still? If there is another strong person like Xiantian Zhenren in Zixia Peak, how can he hide the sword peak and suppress Zixia Peak? Meng Tianzheng saw all kinds of things at a glance. However, he is very happy to see this kind of scene. Only through struggle can there be pressure. The two disciples competed, each showing their magical powers, and the sect would definitely benefit in the end. Child, how many days has your master been in retreat? Did he ever explain when to leave? Meng Tianzheng asked, that his purpose of coming to Zixia Peak this time was not to watch Lin Qingzhu's cultivation. Lin Qingzhu hesitated for a while, and said, Master didn't say anything, I don't know what happened to the master teacher. You can tell the disciple, and the disciple will report it to the master when the time comes. Well, there's nothing particularly important. It's the 7 meridians will meet in 3 months. I want to ask your master if you want to participate in Zixia Peak this time. At present, there is only 1 disciple in Zixia Peak, but there are only 7 participants, which is really not enough. However, as a branch of the heaven-mending sect, even if there is only 1 disciple, you should ask the other party if they want to participate. This is his duty as the headmaster, and he cannot leave out any lineage. 7 veins will be martial arts. Hearing this, Lin Qingzuo's eyes lit up. Yeqiu had already told her about this before she went to retreat. Immediately he replied, Master Teacher, my master told me about this, and I attended the Zixia summit. Ah, very good. Meng Tianzheng nodded, expressing his satisfaction, and he was also looking forward to how far Lin Qingzuo could improve in 3 months. Qi Wugui said sarcastically, Haha, it seems that your master is very confident in this martial arts meeting. Senior Qi is laughing, don't worry. If you meet a disciple of Kangjian Peak this time, I will definitely be merciful. Lin Qingzuo sneered and said meaningfully. When Qi Wugui heard this, he was immediately furious. Humph, yellow-haired girl, who is arrogant, what kind of master and what kind of apprentice you teach? You don't really think that you can really learn anything from following your useless master. Lin Qingzuo frowned and continued, this will not bother Master Qi, Master Qi should worry about himself first. If you are a disciple of the 7 meridians, if you lose to a disciple taught by a useless master like me, then you will be a slap in the face of your old man. You. Pfft. Qi Wugui almost spat out a mouthful of old blood, this girl is usually cold and doesn't talk much. This speech almost didn't make him angry. Just like her master. Humph, yellow-haired girl, she has no respect for her superiors. I have committed the following crimes. Today, I have to respect your teacher and teach you well, so that you know what it means to respect the teacher and respect the Tao. Burning with anger, Qi Wugui was about to take action when a loud noise came from the back mountain. Hey? This is... Meng Tianzheng was startled, and could vaguely feel a strong aura coming from the back mountain. This power is astonishing. Could it be that Zixia Peak and other elders have not passed away? Meng Tianzheng was shocked, as was Qi Wugui, his face was ashen. Master is out. Different from the surprise of the two, Lin Qingzuo said in surprise. She was frightened just now, but she didn't expect that her words would make Qi Wugui break his merits and want to beat her. How could she beat Qi Wugui against her opponent now? Unexpectedly, at this critical moment, Yeqiu actually left. She could feel that powerful aura, very familiar. It was her master who had been in seclusion for a long time. What? Yeqiu. Hearing Lin Qingzuo's surprise, the two frowned and were shocked. Impossible. This aura, at least, is only possessed by those who are strong in the boundless realm. Isn't Yeqiu a second-rank profound finger? When the two were wondering, a cloud flashed across the sky. Yu reading www.yuuganchu.com. For a moment, a white figure appeared beside him. White clothes fluttering, strolling leisurely in the courtyard, there is a sense of immortality all over his body, which gives people a feeling that they cannot be peeped. Meng Tianzheng was shocked that Yeqiu was the one who came. If they were not mistaken, Yeqiu teleported over, right? This magical power can only be possessed by the boundless realm. And from the back mountain to here, there is at least a distance of 10,000 meters, and he actually came here in one step? From this, it can be seen that his cultivation is definitely not as simple as Wu Kei. Compared to Meng Tianzhen's surprise, Qi Wugui's face was completely pale at this time. He really couldn't believe that Yeqiu had already broken through the infinity, and judging from the distance of teleportation, his cultivation base was probably close to the divine treasure realm. No, he doesn't believe it's true. Ming 4 days ago, he was just a little cultivator of the second rank of Suanzi. In just 4 days, how did he break through to the boundless realm? Could it be that he has been hiding his strength? Thinking of this, Qi Wugui's face turned pale. It must be. He has been hiding his strength. If he is really like the legend, he is just a waste. How could a strong man like Master Xiantian accept him as a disciple? The disciple welcomes the master to leave the customs. At this time, seeing Yeqiu again, Lin Qingzuo seemed to have found the backbone, and greeted him with a salute. Well, get up. Yechu smiled lightly and helped her up. He already knew what happened here just now. He looked back at Chi Wugui and showed a meaningful smile. Senior brother Chi, I heard that you want to teach my disciple for me. Facing Yechu's questioning, Chi Wugui felt guilty, but he quickly reacted. Junior brother Yat, your apprentice is arrogant, and if you don't train well, you will definitely cause disaster in the future. Senior brother sees that you are in retreat and have no time to discipline. I also have good intentions. Junior brother, don't take offense. Oh, is it so? Yechu smiled and said, my apprentice, no matter how wrong it is, it's just my Xixia Peak's housework. I will discipline myself, and it's not your turn to point fingers here. My people from Xixia Peak are not dead yet. As soon as the voice fell, a powerful aura instantly dissipated. The faces of the three suddenly changed. His master is so strong. Lin Qingzhou was shocked in her heart. At first, she really thought that her master was really just like the rumors of those people, and only had the strength of the second rank of Xuanzi. Now, when she felt this terrifying momentum, she was very shocked. What moved her even more was that Yechu had no regrets in order to support her. You know, this old guy is the strongest in the entire heaven-mending sect, except Meng Tianzheng. Master! Lin Qingzhou was very moved in his heart. Looking at the fluttering figure in white clothes in front of him, he became a little taller invisibly. She didn't expect that after her family was destroyed, she thought that no one in the world would treat her with sincerity. Unexpectedly, she once again met a master who was willing to protect her and decide for her. Lin Qingzhou opened his mouth, trying to persuade Yechu that the grievance she suffered just now was nothing, there was no need to offend Chi Wuhui for her. However, when she opened her mouth, she couldn't say anything. At this time, at the moment when Yechu's aura exploded, Meng Tianzheng cast a surprised look. This aura! It contains a hint of immortal essence. What kind of cultivation is he at the moment? I can't believe that his strength is obviously not as bad as the rumors say, but he has endured 10 years of humiliation and never explained anything. This person's temperament is too terrifying. If it wasn't for his apprentice, I'm afraid he would continue to hide. Taking a deep look at Yechu, Meng Tianzheng didn't say anything to stop him. This is the generational conflict between Kangjian Peak and Xixia Peak. As the headmaster, he is caught in the middle and can't favor either side. On the other hand, Chi Wugui's face was ashen as he looked at Yechu expressionlessly. He now understands. Yechu's strength is not as rumored, only the second rank of Xuanzi. Judging from the aura he is bursting out now, his strength is at least above Wuji. However, this does not mean that he will be afraid. Humph, junior brother Yat. You apprentice, you have no respect, no rules in your eyes. As a law enforcement elder, can't I control it? Chi Wugui let out a cold cry, and his aura gradually erupted, offsetting the power radiated by Yechu. Hee, door rules. Yechu dissipated his aura, and walked leisurely to the edge of the cliff, looking in the direction of Kangjian Peak. Since senior brother Chi mentioned the rules to me, let's talk about the rules. What's the meaning? Chi Wugui's face was gloomy, he didn't know what medicine Yakaihuha was selling. Senior brother Chi, as a law enforcement elder, you must be familiar with the rules and regulations. I don't know, the disciples of this sect oppressed the people, robbed people's daughters, and killed innocent people. According to the sect's rules, how should they be dealt with? Chi Wugui said without thinking, as a rule, the cultivation base should be abolished and expelled from the teacher's door. Hearing this, the corner of Yechu's mouth rose slightly, revealing a meaningful smile. Seeing this scene, Chi Wugui suddenly had an ominous premonition. Sure enough, after hearing his words, Yechu smiled lightly and said, it seems that senior brother Chi still knows the rules very well. If I remember correctly, there is a disciple under your hidden sword peak. Relying on his own strength, he oppressed the people, robbed women from the bottom of the mountain many times, and played with them to death. According to the rules of the sect, should one abolish the cultivation base and expel the teacher from the sect? Oh, I remembered. This disciple seems to be senior brother Ki's son, right? No wonder this kid is still at large on the mountain. That's not surprising. Yechu had an expression of sudden realization. Pfft! Lin Qingzuo almost couldn't help laughing. She didn't expect that her master would have such a dark side. Clearly put Qi Wuhui together, let him dig a hole by himself, and then jump down by himself. Hearing these words, Qi Wuhui couldn't guess where Yechu was deliberately cheating him. What he couldn't refute was that every word Yechu said was true. He is old enough to have a son, and he loves him very much. He has always indulged his son. And Qi Hao, relying on his father as the law enforcement elder, and himself as the heir of Kangjian Peak, under Qi Wuhui's indulgence, his psychology became more and more abnormal. In just a few months, he had already snatched several ladies down the mountain and played with them to death on the mountain. This kind of thing is quite normal in this world where the strong are respected. Usually everyone opens one eye and closes one eye. After all, his father is Qi Wuhui, and no one dares to speak of him. This also indirectly contributed to his rampant capital, and his psychology became more and more abnormal. Seeing that the trigger was on his most beloved son, Qi Wuhui was in a panic. Junior brother Yat, you are talking about evidence. Although our two lines have always been at odds, you don't need to frame them, right? Evidence. Looking at the other party's sinister face, Yechu sneered. Then what if I find evidence? Senior brother Qi, as a law enforcement elder, shouldn't he be covering up for personal gain? As soon as these words came out, Qi Wuhui immediately burst into cold sweat and looked at Meng Tianzheng as if asking for help. Seeing his chaos, Meng Tianzheng shook his head in disappointment. He didn't expect that Qi Wuhui, a law enforcement elder, couldn't even play a young man in his early 20s when he was playing tricks. He had to admire Yechu again. On the surface, he looked like I was being honest, but he didn't expect to be so cunning. Meng Tianzheng obviously knew about Qi Hao, but because of his special status, Meng Tianzheng also opened one eye and closed the other. After all, in the eyes of cultivators, they would not care about the death of a mortal. This is a world where all races compete for hegemony. The fittest survives. Only the strong will have the right to speak. Looking at Zixia Yungxia in the sky, Meng Tianzheng suddenly said, Junior brother Yat, Zixia Peak has beautiful scenery and abundant spiritual energy. Under these feet, I'm afraid there is a spiritual vein pressing down. No wonder Master Xiantian has never left Zixia Peak for so many years, so. Yechu gave him a deep look, knowing that he deliberately opened up the topic and suppressed the matter. She sneered in her heart, feeling almost the same. At this time, angering Qi Wuhui would not do him any good. After all, the other party is also a strong leader of the sect. If they really fight, he is not yet the opponent of the other party. It's better to go with the water and give Meng Tianzheng a face. Moreover, as long as this handle is still there, Yechu will be able to hold on to Qi Wuhui's life gate. As expected of the teacher in charge, you can see the mystery of my Zixia Peak at a glance, and the younger brother admires. Yechu laughed, and followed his words. Meng Tianzheng glanced at him with satisfaction and continued, It's getting late, let's get down to business. Junior brother Yat, we are here for the 7 meridians to meet in 3 months' time. I don't know Zixia Peak, the younger brother, will you participate in this martial arts meeting? Sure enough, Yechu guessed from the beginning that they came this time for the 7 meridians to meet martial arts. After all, this is the first grand event of the Heaven Mending sect, and it is very important. In my memory, Zixia Peak seems to have not participated in the martial arts for almost 2 sessions. Because of Zhenren Xiantian, Zixia Peak did not have any disciples who attended the competition. And this time, Yechu was already the first, so naturally he wouldn't participate. The only one who could participate was Lin Qingzu. Looking back at the disciple behind him, Ye Qiu said indifferently, "Brother Master, I am attending the Zixia summit." Humph! Qi Wugui smiled disdainfully. Among the 7 meridians, only Zixia Peak has few people. The rest of the meridians, who participated in the martial arts, were all talented disciples who were carefully selected from knockout rounds. Of course, the strength is not weak, it can be said that it is a gathering of geniuses. And there is only one disciple in the Zixia Peak lineage, so there is no need to choose, there is no choice. Moreover, he is still a disciple who has just started, so even if he participates, he can get a good ranking. According to Qi Wugui's expectations, the disciples who participated in the martial arts meeting this time are the weakest, at least in the Suanzi realm. For those with higher talent, I am afraid that they have already reached the state of heaven. What is Lin Qingzu's cultivation base now? He had only practiced the 4th rank of Qi, and he did not believe that Lin Qingzu would be able to break through to the profound finger realm in the next 3 months. Even if it can be reached, it is only the existence of the bottom. If Zixia Feng dared to participate, he dared to disgrace them. At this time, Qi Wugui was secretly overjoyed, and he began to look forward to the martial arts meeting 3 months later. At that time, he secretly manipulated and asked his disciples to eliminate Lin Qingzu from the game. At that time, he would be able to mock Ye Qiu fiercely and avenge his previous revenge. Hearing this cold snort, Ye Qiu glanced at him and said meaningfully, "Senior brother Qi doesn't seem to be very optimistic about my Zixia Peak. Then how about we make a bet?" "What bet?" When he heard that Ye Qiu was going to throw himself into the net, Qi Wuhui immediately became interested. "Let's bet that in this martial arts meeting, the disciple of the 2 of us will be ranked higher. How about taking a top quality treasure as a bet and having the teacher in charge testify?" Hearing this, Qi Wugui was secretly overjoyed. Is this kid crazy? Isn't this pure gift to him? For fear that Ye Qiu would go back on it, Qi Wugui agreed immediately. "Okay, since junior brother is so elegant, how can senior brother bear to refuse? Teacher in charge, please bear your testimony, lest some people go back and regret it." Then he said to Meng Tianzheng. Meng Tianzheng saw this scene, shook his head, and agreed. He didn't know where Ye Qiu got his confidence, so he dared to gamble with Qi Wuhui. "You know, in order to win, this old guy will definitely send his own son to play. That Qi Hao, but a powerhouse of the 1st rank of Tianxiang, is the most powerful existence among the disciples of the entire Tianmen sect except for Lu Qingfeng. And Lu Qingfeng didn't participate in this tournament, so he can be said to be the default champion. Junior brother yet. I'm afraid I'll disappoint you this time. I hide Jianfeng, and I'm bound to win the championship of this tournament." When the conspiracy succeeded, Qi Wugui immediately revealed his true colors, looking triumphant. Ye Qiu glanced at him, looked back at Lin Qingzu, and said, "Qingzu, your uncle Qi doesn't seem to have much confidence in you. You must cultivate well, and you can't let your uncle Qi down." "What?" Suddenly being named by the master, Lin Qingzu suddenly became nervous. She knew in her heart that Ye Qiu had put all her hopes on her. Immediately, the pressure doubled. If she loses, wouldn't master be disgraced? "Master, don't worry, I will definitely try my best to not disappoint Master Qi." Lin Qingzu said in a firm tone that this time Ye Qiu was fighting against Qi Wuhui because of her. She couldn't embarrass Ye Qiu at this critical moment. Master's face is her face, no matter the cost, to take back the honor that belongs to Zixia Peak. He, then we will see the real chapter in 3 months. Qi Wuhui didn't take it to heart at all. From the beginning to the end, he didn't believe that Lin Qingzu could get a good place in the conference. "Okay, 3 months later, see Zhenjiang." Ye Qiu replied confidently. Meng Tianzheng didn't say anything. After explaining the matter, Qi Wugui flew to other mountains. After they left, Lin Qingzhu finally couldn't sit still and walked behind Yeqiu. At this time, her heart was very moved. She didn't expect that Yeqiu would not hesitate to offend Qi Wuhui for her, and even made a bet with him. She felt very sad and regretful. Why did she offend Qi Wuhui before, so that the master had to stand up for her? Master, it's King Zhu's fault, so that Shizun has to stand up for King Zhu, make a bet with Master Qi, and lose the treasure. King Zhu swears that it will never be like this again. Looking back at the pretty girl with pear blossoms and rain, Yeqiu said with a smile, "Damn girl, whoever came forward for you, don't be too affectionate." What? Lin Qingzhu was dumbfounded. Don't you give me a head start? Thankfully, I was moved for a long time just now and cried in vain. Feeling aggrieved in my heart, but after thinking about it, Lin Qingzhu showed a meaningful smile. No, Master must have said this on purpose in order not to make me feel uncomfortable. Well, it must be. A man with a hard mouth and a soft heart. Lin Qingzhu thought to herself that she didn't believe Yeqiu's nonsense, and it was clear that she was fighting for Qi Wuhui just now. But after thinking about it, I suddenly felt a warm heart. Is this the feeling of being cared for? Actually, it is a beautiful thing to have such a young, handsome, and capable master. Cultivation is boring, and when you have nothing to do, you can watch the handsome master in a daze. Yu reading www.yuyuganshu.com. Master, King Zhu knows very well that with your style of doing things, you will definitely not pay attention to people like Master Qi. The reason why you did this was entirely for King Zhu. This time, it was indeed my fault that Shizun had to stand up for me. Master is kind to King Zhu, and King Zhu will keep it in your heart. Don't worry, Master, I will definitely work hard and try to get back a good ranking, so that Master will not lose so ugly. Hearing this, Yeqiu's face darkened. Is this girl crazy? Lao Tzu has put the old face on you, so you say you lost before you fight? Hurry up and stop you. Remember, my Zixia Peak's tradition is that you know your mistakes and correct them without admitting them. Even if you die, your mouth will still be hard, but you won't admit your mistakes. Lin Qingzhu. Does Zixia Peak still have such a tradition? A dead duck has a hard mouth? However, I feel that this tradition seems to be quite good. Looking at Lin Qingzhu with a dazed face in front of him, Yeqiu only felt amused. This tradition was actually passed down from Master Xian Tian. This old man was originally a very unreasonable person. How could he have any good words to pass on? Okay. You don't have to be mentally burdened, just do your best. It's okay to lose face for the teacher, anyway, I don't have anything to lose. The corner of Yeqiu's mouth twitched when he thought of his experience in the past 10 years. He is in the heaven repairing sect, so what face is there? Who didn't know that there was a trash leader on Zixia Peak who was eating and waiting to die? However, it is not without hope. There are still 3 months before the conference, and it is just in these 3 months that you can do a good job. 7 veins will be martial arts. Haha, interesting. This time, I will surprise everyone. Standing on the cliff, the corner of Yeqiu's mouth rose slightly, revealing a confident smile. Lin Qingzhu was fascinated by that figure with fluttering white clothes and full of immortality. There is such a handsome man in the world, and this person is her master. Immediately, my heart was incredibly beautiful. Suddenly, a crazy idea came up. What would happen if the master was attacked? Looking back, seeing Lin Qingzhu looking at him in a daze, his expression was like that of a slut. Yeqiu was stunned for a moment, and asked with concern, "Tutor, what's wrong with you, are you not feeling well?" Lin Qingzhu immediately came back to his senses, and when he remembered the crazy idea just now, his face suddenly blushed. No, Master, it's windy here, let's go back. Lin Qingzhu suggested. Well, let's go. Find a place to check if you have wasted your homework these days. Yeqiu didn't notice anything unusual, so he left Wang Dianya first and walked towards the dojo. Lin Qingzue followed closely, and the two quickly returned to the dojo. Returning to his position, Lin Qingzue stood nervously in the center of the dojo, waiting for Yeqiu to check his homework. She didn't know if her progress in the past few days could satisfy master. Put out your hand. Lin Qingzue walked forward with an uneasy mood, and watched Yeqiu lightly put his hand on his own, his body numb, and he felt an electric shock. Yeqiu didn't notice the change in her face. After checking her cultivation progress, she frowned. 4th level of Qi practice. In 4 days, why did she suddenly reach the 4th level of Qi practice? After thinking about it, this should be the effect of the Divine Marrow Pill. After all, the Divine Marrow Pill has transformed her physique, and its medicinal effect has not been fully absorbed. The same is true for the Immortal Marrow Pill that Yeqiu took. It took him 4 days to absorb it with all his strength, and he finally reached the level of the 4th rank without distance. Although it is a 4th rank, its power is very pure. Under the purification of the fairy medicine, his 4th rank is enough to be equal to the 9th rank, and even the 1st rank of the gods. Moreover, the breath is very complicated, and the spiritual power is mixed with immortal power, which makes people puzzled. This is also the reason why Yeqiu dared to be angry with Qi Wuhui just now, because Qi Wuhui couldn't judge at all what realm he was in. Master, Qingzue's aptitude is dull, and he failed to meet Master's expectations. He only has the strength of 4th grade Qi training. Seeing that Yeqiu's face did not change, Lin Qingzue was a little disappointed, thinking that he had not reached Yeqiu's ideal realm, and was very depressed. Who knows, Yeqiu suddenly rolled her eyes at her. It took 4 days to break through to the 4th level of Qi training, what else do you want? You can only say these words in front of me. Don't talk nonsense when you go out in the future, or people will beat you to death. It's so irritating. The disciple who was born with a divine bone in hidden sword peak 4 days ago has not yet reached the 1st rank of Qi training. She's already at the 4th rank, but she's still not satisfied, and she also says that she is stupid. God is so stupid. If I had cultivated at this speed back then, would I have been humiliated for so many years? What? Seeing Yeqiu's sudden contrast, Lin Qingzue was stunned. It was the first time she saw Yeqiu have such an expression. She felt like she had discovered a new continent. It turns out that master, isn't that serious? Suddenly I think, such a master is very interesting. Lin Qingzue was overjoyed in his heart, thinking that master was disappointed by his performance. Turns out it wasn't, then she was relieved. Well, the 4th rank of Qi training. If you want to reach the profound finger realm, it will take a few months at least. I'm afraid it will be too late. Muttering in his mouth, Yeqiu suddenly had a thought. Yes. I can teach Gong. How could I forget about this? Yeqiu suddenly woke up. He had a 10,000 times return system. Unlike other people, he did not dare to spread Gong wanton, fearing that his cultivation would decline. Master, what's wrong with you? Seeing Yeqiu froze in place, Lin Qingzue asked curiously. Yeqiu quickly reacted, and immediately showed an evil smile, stared at Lin Qingzue intently, and scrutinized her back and forth. Lin Qingzue's heart trembled, and his body began to tense. This smile, this look? Wouldn't master be interested in me? What should I do? What should I do? If master wants it, should I give it or not? Come on, will he think I'm being too casual? Don't give it, master treats me so well, and he is so handsome, how can I bear to refuse? In this short second, Lin Qingzue had countless imaginings in his mind. When Yeqiu saw her distracted, the corners of her mouth twitched, wondering where this dead girl had gone. Teacher. I thought about it just now for my teacher, but you bear the dignity of my Xixia Peak. In this martial arts competition, you must come back as a champion. However, 3 months is too hasty. With your current progress, I'm afraid it's too late. After thinking for the teacher, I decided to teach you the practice. What? Oh. Hearing this, Lin Qingzu was suddenly a little disappointed and reluctantly said. Bai was looking forward to it. She thought it was something, but it turned out to be a practice. Seeing her disappointed expression, Yechu's mouth twitched, a black line on her head. What is this expression? I'm teaching you Gong, but you're still not happy? This is something that many people wish for. After a while, Lin Qingzu suddenly recovered. Wait, Master, are you saying that you want to teach me Gong? She was thinking about something just now and didn't pay attention. Now that she has reacted, she is instantly shocked. Yechu actually wanted to teach her the practice. She couldn't believe it. Yu reading www.yuyugonshu.com must know that immortal cultivators place more importance on their own cultivation than life. If it wasn't for the person closest to him, there would be absolutely no possibility of such a thing as teaching the practice. Lin Qingzu did not expect that Yechu would teach her the practice. Doesn't that mean that in Yechu's heart, he is the person closest to him? Thinking of this, Lin Qingzu was overjoyed and very excited. I didn't expect Master to care about me so much, I was so moved. One by one, he was just a pretext for the dignity of Zixia Peak. How can the mere dignity be compared to these Su Gong abilities? That's right. Yechu said indifferently, thinking about it for the teacher, the only way to pass on the practice can make you grow up in the shortest possible time. This martial arts meeting is about the dignity of my Zixia Peak. I don't want you to lose as a teacher, do you understand? Lin Qingzu nodded solemnly. She was very clear in her heart that this was for Zixia Feng's face. He was clearly worried that he would be injured in the martial arts, so he taught the practice. A man with a hard mouth and a soft heart. He was obviously worried about me, but it happened one by one for Zixia Peak. Okay. Come here, sit in front of me, and enter a state of meditation. It is good. Lin Qingzu walked over without any hesitation. As soon as she approached, Yechu felt the cold air and the faint fragrance emanating from her body. I couldn't help taking a breath. He couldn't help but appreciate it in his heart. Although this girl is still young, she is already slender, with a bulge in the front and back, and she has everything she should have. Alas, I really don't know which stupid protagonist will be cheaper in the future. After Lin Qingzu fully entered the state, Yechu asked in his heart. System, how much can you transmit at one time? This was the first time he taught the practice. He had no experience. For fear of making a mistake, he hurriedly asked the system. Detection of the host's cultivation at the moment, only in the boundless realm, can pass up to 10 years of skill. The number of years passed on can be improved with the improvement of one's own cultivation. The higher the cultivation, the higher the skills that can be taught. Note, every time you transmit Gong, you will enter a cooldown period for Gong transmission. During this period, you will not trigger the return of Gong. Well, 10 years? That's enough. After listening to the system's explanation, Yechu nodded, indicating that it was still within his acceptable range. According to the original expectation, he planned to pass on his skill for 100 years, but considering Lin Qingzu's current body, I am afraid he can't accept this powerful force. 10 years is the limit. After making up his mind, Yechu said softly. Teacher, relax, don't be nervous. Broadcasting the practice is a very serious matter, and there is no room for mistakes. Today, I will teach you 10 years of skill. You only need to this power into Fuhe and smelt it when it reaches your body. Remember, don't resist. Skills cannot be passed on casually. There are many tests during this period. If there is a slight difference, both of them will be affected. Before spreading the practice, Yechu had to remind Lin Qingzu, lest she make any mistakes. Master, I understand. Okay. Yechu raised his hands lightly and pressed tightly against Lin Qingzu's back, his whole body working out. With the method of spreading the power was introduced into Lin Qingzuo's body. Feeling the constant power from Yechu's hands, he ran wildly in his body. Lin Qingzuo's heart trembled, and when he remembered Yechu's instructions just now, he immediately relaxed. Following Yechu's guidance, he introduced this power into the Fuhe Sea. At this time, her cultivation base was still stuck at the 4th rank of Qi training, and she only waited for this power to enter the Fuhe Sea. Lin Qingzuo began to try to absorb and integrate this power into herself, and within a moment, her cultivation began to surge upwards. The more Lin Qingzuo looked, the more surprised she became. In less than a moment, she jumped from the 4th Qi practice to the 9th Qi practice. Master's 10 years of skill are so intense. The strength gained from teaching the Gong is not the same as the power gained through normal practice. It takes 10 years for you to break through to the profound finger realm, but if others pass on your 10 years of skill, you may not be able to break through to the profound finger realm. Because in the process of spreading Gong, there will be a loss of strength, and due to the influence of one's own qualifications, there will also be a loss in the absorption, which is indirectly discounted. This is also the reason why other people are reluctant to teach the practice. Because it is too wasteful, no one is willing to waste so much skill to let you improve a realm. It is precisely because of this that Lin Qingzuo was very moved, Yechu was willing to waste so many years of skill for her. However, how did she know that Yechu had a return system, how much he passed on to her, not only how much he would return, but also a lot of money in the middle. In his words, you may make a small profit, but I will never lose. Moreover, with the assistance of the system, Yechu's technique of teaching practice hardly lost much. Boom! Hearing the trembling of Fu Hai, Lin Qingzuo felt the changes in his body and realized that he had actually broken through his profound fingers. Xuanzi First Class. At this moment, Lin Qingzuo was completely excited. 4 days after entering the school, she had already broken through to the 1st rank of Xuanzi. You know, those who started with her are still lingering at the 1st rank of Qi practice. Hey! The 10 years of skill has been passed down. Yechu slowly retracted his hands, and instructed, don't be stunned, hurry up and strengthen the foundation, so as not to have an unstable foundation, which will affect future cultivation. Well, I know. Lin Qingzuo hurriedly responded, and instantly cast the Zixia collection, transforming the qi in the body with a trip to the sky. After changing for a few weeks, most of it has been assimilated, and my mood has gradually stabilized. Seeing that she was still consolidating her cultivation, Yechu didn't bother, she quietly got up and returned to her seat. System. Ding, you taught your disciples 10 years of skill, triggering a 10,000-fold return. Whether to enable critical strike return. Turn on. Congratulations to the host, triggering a 100-fold crit, and obtaining a 1,000-year skill. 1,000 years. Yechu took a deep breath after hearing this. 10 years has become 1,000 years. Where can I find such a good deal? Hey, yes, with 1,000 years of skill, with my current physique, it is estimated that I can break through the 5 realms and be hidden in the gods, right? He secretly rejoiced in his heart. According to the calculation method mentioned by the system before, the skill of this 1,000 years should be enough for him to break the distance and hide in the gods. Come on, I'm ready. Slowly closing his eyes, Yechu entered a state of meditation, and within a moment, a surging force poured into him instantly. In a moment, the limbs and bones reversed, and the cultivation base began to improve rapidly. Hey, this tearing pain. This is the pouring of energy. Yechu endured the pain, and completely integrated this power into the Sea of Fu and entered the flower of the avenue. After a while, from the flower of the avenue, the pure power began to be fed back crazily. His cultivation began to increase rapidly. No distance 5 products. No distance 6th grade. No distance 7. No distance 8 products. UU reading www.uugonshu.com. No distance 9th grade. It's coming, it's coming, it's going to break through the 5 realms right now. The cultivation base is infinitely close to the divine treasure, and the spiritual spring in the forehead begins to disintegrate. The power in the body lost control for a while, yet you endured the pain and continued to suppress. After a long time, in the 5 parts of the body, the heart, the liver, the spleen, the lungs, and the kidneys, a fountain of life evolved, and all the power poured into this fountain of life. Boom! The earth-shaking changes occurred in the body, and only hearing a loud noise, it was like breaking a cocoon into a butterfly, yet you successfully stepped into the divine treasure realm. And those 5 parts of his body, starting from today, have completely become the source of his strength. The breath is restrained, and the charm hides its spring. What? Comfortable. With a breakthrough in cultivation, yet you breathed a sigh of relief. From this moment on, he is no longer the first waste of Zixia Peak to be slaughtered by others, but a strong man in the divine treasure realm. At this point, he was only one step away from the leader. According to Yechu's previous expectations, the 1,000-year-old skill was just enough for him to break through the 5 realms and enter the divine treasure. Although he didn't rush to the leader in one fell swoop, Yechu was already very satisfied. After all, you still have to eat one bite at a time. Sometimes you eat too much and it's easy to hold on. When he woke up again, Yechu had a new look, and his entire personality had undergone earth-shaking changes. If it was said that he was a bit sharp-edged before, now his breath has been completely restrained, and he looks no different from ordinary people. However, what is different from ordinary people is that he always has an inexplicable immortal essence around him, like a fairy in the sky, who comes to this world freely and easily. According to the effect of Shenzang, this kind of temperament does not exist. This kind of temperament is completely brought by the immortal marrow pill.